Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fix It or Feel It. We're going to get right into something that I've been thinking about quite a bit lately, been talking about quite a bit lately, quite frankly, talking about in therapy a lot lately. And it is the idea of the discomfort, being okay with being a little bit uncomfortable. I have had major problems with this for about as long as I can remember. Once again, no shots fired on parents. I wasn't forced to do a whole lot of things that I probably should have been forced to do when I was a kid. I was a very sensitive boy and I was a mama's boy. And I would play the card of, I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable. I'm embarrassed. I'm bad at this. Whatever it was, I don't want to do it. I will cry and I will get to go home. And I'm lathered up in a real light base coat of that in a lot of my everyday actions. Or at least I have been in the past. It is something that I am working on. And the thing that made me realize how much of a problem this was for me in so many aspects of my life was actually one day when I was sitting in traffic. And you know how when you're in traffic and you're waiting at a red light and there's lines of cars and I'm like number 4 in line and there's a guy who's like number 12 in line. And like literally the millisecond that the light turns green, you hear somebody honk from the back. And I said out loud, could you give it 1 second before you start freaking out? Can you give it one singular second before you need to get where you're going? Like, where are you going? And I realized like a couple minutes after I said that out loud and I was driving and I was like, oh, that is my brain in any situation where I am stuck in emotional traffic or I am uncomfortable. It is, I need this to be over now. Get me out of here. Lay on the horn. And I have done this and still do sometimes in very small things. I'm bored. Pick up social media. I'm hungry. Put food in my mouth. I'm horny, watch some porn. Whatever it is, what's the quickest and easiest fix? How do I feel different than I am right now? I even actually found that I have this pattern with pot. With pot. What am I, a narc? I have a complicated relationship with marijuana as well, as I do all substances, really. I always think that I have a handle on it, and then 2, 3 months down the road, I have my come to Jesus moment where I'm like, oh, I'm doing this every single day and to excess, and it doesn't work for me. But a big part of it is at the end of the day, I'm maybe tired or I'm worn out or I'm run down, or most commonly, I just want to feel different. I have been this all day long. I woke up like this. I went to work like this. I did everything like this, and I need to feel different. And marijuana is a great escape. And that is part of the reason why I end up doing it so frequently. So now at the end of the day, I have to be me, or I get to be me, right? I have certainly done it in much larger and more important things in my life. I can attribute I don't want to say failure, but the ending of my last relationship, which is still an open wound for me, was kind of related to this. In so much that, without going into detail, we were going through a rough patch, as every relationship does. This was the longest relationship I had ever had. I wasn't super familiar with how to navigate through a rough patch, and there was tension in the house. And I needed that tension to be over. I was uncomfortable. I could not see past my own discomfort for 1 second. Even though in the course of this, it was like a few weeks. But if this is somebody you're going to spend the rest of your life with, hopefully, then a few weeks is 1 second. And I couldn't give it 1 second. I had to get out of there. I needed the tension to be over. And the first couple weeks of that relationship ending, all I felt was relief. Truly. I was sad, of course, but the relief was the predominant feeling. And it didn't hit me until maybe a month later, and then kind of an avalanche of emotions since then about how much better I could have handled that, and maybe it was a relationship that didn't have to end. And whether or not I'm the type of guy who will break up with somebody and then send them a long text or an email a few months later with a more eloquent way of saying, baby, take me back, please, I messed up so bad. I'll let you decide if that's the kind of guy I am based on my overall vibe. So what is it about being uncomfortable that I find so scary? I still something I'm unpacking. I just remembered I wrote down this story that happened to me at the Miami Open at a tennis event recently. And my first couple tellings of this story were about how much of a ding dong this guy I encountered was. Through a couple tellings of the story, I realized that I was the ding dong. I was the asshole in this story, which is always fun to find out that you're the villain every now and again. And I realized it fit into this category. So I walked into a urinal, as one does. It was an empty bathroom, which is always great, especially for men with urinals. Why are we still doing this? No partitions in between. So a couple seconds after I start doing my business, this guy walks in, takes the urinal directly next to me, which is, I mean, number one, bathroom etiquette. He fucked up. Leave at least one space when you can. So we're doing our business in silence as we should. And he goes, "Secret bathroom, huh?" So in my original telling of the story, I go, this guy's uncomfortable with silence. I'm not. He made his problem with silence my problem by trying to bring me into this. And what I'm going to do is not give it to him. I'm just going to stay silent and say nothing. So he goes, "Secret bathroom, huh?" And I stare straight ahead at my own penis and don't say anything to him. Zip up, wash my hands, and walk out of the bathroom. Now, again, when I first walked out of the bathroom and went to my friend who I was at the event with and told him the story, I was like, what a dick that guy is, right? Making his problem my problem. But really, it was me trying to avoid my own discomfort. Like, okay, that guy was uncomfortable and he tried to get out of it, but like, how hard would it have been for me to be like, I know, right? Did you say the password? I could have given him exactly what he wanted, but I didn't because he made me uncomfortable. And I decided to just get out of there. So, I mean, the point of that is like, go ahead, Brian, be uncomfortable for a second. You'll be fine. Be uncomfortable for 30 seconds, for 10 minutes, for an hour. Go to that event that your girlfriend wants you to go to with her family, even though you might not want to go to it. And you're going to be fine. If you don't have a good time, you'll survive. Most times you find you had a better time than you thought you would have. And just be uncomfortable. Be hungry. Be horny. Sit with it for a second. Don't just go straight to the P-Hub and see what's on tap for the day. Be bored. Don't go straight to social media or YouTube and fall into a rabbit hole. Sit with your thoughts for a second. Sit with your feelings for a second. In my latest therapy session, in talking about this, she kind of started digging a little bit, and we found that I mean, this isn't going to be surprising that I have very avoidant tendencies. When I was a kid, I would put off anything difficult, homework, projects, whatever it was, till the absolute last second. Just pretend whatever the stressful thing that I was trying to avoid didn't exist until it existed so hard and was so present I couldn't avoid it anymore. I've let my car get towed because I didn't pay parking tickets. I've gotten multiple root canals because I didn't want to go to the dentist, because guess what? The dentist isn't fun and it's very uncomfortable. And guess who doesn't like being uncomfortable? So that is the feel it of it all, right? The fix it is something that I'm currently working on fixing, but the overall theme of that is sit with it. Be annoyed for a second. Feel awkward for a minute. Do the thing. Go to the doctor's appointment, even though you don't necessarily have to. You could reschedule it. Go to whatever event that you said yes to. I mean, event is a generous word. It was probably like dinner with friends. Go do the thing. It's not going to be as bad as you think it is. It never is. And if it is as bad as you think it is, it's not going to kill you. You're going to be fine, Brian. That's really all I got for today. That's been on my mind a lot, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it. So this is going to be a bit of a short one, which I think is fine. And I do have a good quote that is right on topic. Like I said, we're ending all of these with a quote, so this will be our quote of the week. And the quote for this week is, "Sometimes feelings don't want to be healed, they want to be held." Which is to say that if it's a difficult feeling, I don't need it to be over right now. I don't need to heal it immediately. I can sit with it. I can take a look at it. And sometimes putting it under a microscope can be wildly helpful. If you just put a Band-Aid over it, if you just take some Tylenol, if you just rub some tussin on it, I can't remember what that is from in the 90s, but if you know, because that's just treating the symptom. And if we run some tests, do some blood work, biopsy that thing, put it under a microscope, maybe we can find out where that feeling is coming from. What I have learned is that emotional pain is a lot like physical pain, because usually where the pain is not where the problem is. The pain is a symptom of a different problem in a different area, and it is up to us to do some digging and figure out what that is. And I hope through my digging and finding this out about myself, some of you maybe recognize you have some of the same tendencies, and we can all start working together to get through it. We can be uncomfortable. We will survive. It's all going to be okay. I love you all very much. That's going to do it for me. I am getting out of here. Peace out and bye. Okay, that's the second podcast I've said peace out, and I've never said peace out to anybody. So that is not going to be our sign off. Our sign off, we're going to work on it, but I'm out of here. Adios.